So a little bit tough, but moving on to the next one, NoHandsGamer versus Firebat. Get to see the Libram Paladin in action again, and Firebat's Priest left up. I feel like there's a lot of players are not respecting Firebat's Priest because it is a little bit old school. It doesn't run Mind Render. It doesn't have the Cabal Acolytes. Doesn't run many of the cards from Skullman's Academy. Pretty straightforward and but consistent Galakrond Priest. But that can leave a lot of holes in some play. So NoHandsGamer with his Zoo Warlock deck and his Mage is like, yeah, I can take on Galakrond Priest, which he beat the Galakrond Priest with both those decks in his last series, even though he lost overall.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe some redemption on the table here for Firebat, as he has his Paladin, Priest, and his Warrior available for him today, or for this series, rather. Looks like his Druid was banned. We don't actually see many Druid bans. It seems like people instead prefer to ban Priest way more, Warrior as well, but they are the third most popular ban after that. NoHandsGamer has his Warrior ban as a player that is choosing to not bring any Priest this weekend. Or sorry, no, his Priest was banned. I apologize here. I misread the classes because I was looking at Language Hackers lists. But he has his Priest banned instead. So when you see those bans, TJ, does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. NoHandsGamer playing the Highlander Priest, which does have a lot of tools. It's one of the most value-packed decks there is. Like, you could maybe ban the Zoo Warlock because it's NoHandsGamer's signature deck. It might be able to run over his Libram Paladin because it can get on the board early, that type of thing. But Priest is just overall the highest power level deck on paper in NoHandsGamer lineup. So might as well just get rid of it. And NoHandsGamer in this first game is going to throw out the Zoo Warlock, which we did see him take a win after 2 tries in the last series he played. Very cool deck. Damages itself in order to activate Flesh Giants. Shuffles those Soul Fragments in again to get those Flesh Giants on board. Utilizes cards like Dark Glare and Disease Vulture to turn Life Tap into something even more powerful than it already is as a standalone hero power. But this might be a tough matchup for it. Firebat with the Pain Warrior. Risky Skipper Armorsmith can do a lot of work against aggressive decks.
Yeah, I think so. The Warrior's just been so effective at dismantling aggro in general, which is why you can see some people prioritizing the Warrior ban. Despite the fact that Warrior's win rate's just been okay. It's been 50%. Feels like across the board here. Almost at a perfect 50%. At 83 wins and 81 losses heading into today. Looks like NoHandsGamer and Firebat's on their last chance to advance to this top 8 and go into the top 4. Would be such a great way for NoHands to welcome his first week into GM by taking out the original world champion in Hearthstone in Firebat. But, Firebat, he's got a new look, got a new team. He's got a new deck in the form of the Libram Paladin. See if he can do it this time around. And, Firebat did really well in the second half of the season where he was able to, basically make a push for playoffs after he was doing a very good job in Division B last season. And we'll see if he's able to continue that momentum going into today because there's only one spot left, and the winner of this will go on and play Bloody Face.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road, though. As Firebat showed in his first series, the big weakness is that Libram Paladin, but going to save that one a little bit. Warrior, I feel like that deck's going to take a win against just about anything that NoHandsGamer is going to play. I feel like the Highlander Priest was in a similar position, and so the ban's kind of up in the air, but let's see it. Just a Dark Glare keep from NoHandsGamer. Like to keep that kind of gets a lot of your early game rolling because you're trying to have massive turns in the mid game where you're playing Dark Glare or using multiple things that damage yourself and trying to really reduce the cost of those Flesh Giants to get them out as early as possible. Problem is, if you do keep Dark Glare and you have a slow start and you don't pick up the tools that synergize well with it, you kind of get caught in this weird spot where you're not progressing your game plan at all, and you get stuck with these awkward hands, and your opponent has a chance to get on the board much faster than you.
With 3 keep.
No, he threw
Oh,
away.
never mind.
Yeah,
looked like
I was like,
keep,
there's no way that's a 3 keep. No way.
I mean, Risky Skipper's really good.
It is, but I just don't think as a keep. You'd rather have proactive things and weapons that can get the Risky Skipper.
For sure, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, it's sometimes I can understand the keep on Risky Skipper, but it's like we're not playing against Tempo Demon Hunter anymore.
Yeah.
Which plays, so fast odds to board that you really need that 1 damage AoE in order to stabilize. I think we're in a pretty okay spot here.
Yeah. Like the coin Darkler here, Firebat, no way to really challenge it on this turn except for the 1 copy of Coerce in the deck. He wouldn't be able to combo because he can attack in. Actually, Warmaw Challenger does deal with it as well with an attack in, but outside of those 2 things, there was no way for him to actually kill it on this turn. And it's more efficient to do it this way because it leaves him a 1-2 instead of a 1-1.
It's a damaged 1-1, which is there is an argument to be made for it, but not really in his hand right now.
That's actually a pretty big resource for No Hands because that was the only card he kept in his mulligan, so he obviously put a lot riding on it, and now he doesn't really have much follow up. So
right. Yeah, and what is his actual game plan now? Is it just Nightshade Matron and then chill? Is it Disease Vulture now? Like he's just gonna kind of play with the other cards that he wasn't anticipating keeping?
I don't know. He did get the Soul Shear, so if he picks up a Soul Fragment, it will activate the Brittlebone Destroyer. Could be an insane Disease Vulture if it sticks.
Yeah, it's also the sturdiest minion that isn't Nightshade Matron.
Yeah.
I think that's entirely reasonable. So Firebat has the Captain Greenskin on curve available to him, but now with this Disease Vulture, does he want to change up his game plan at all?
Well, I mean, if he goes with Captain Greenskin, it's a big body on board. He gets to just attack the Voidwalker and hit face. And the next turn, he would have like Risky Skipper as a follow-up. No. To clear off like whatever the Disease Vulture would spawn. And kill it off because he'd have a 3-attack weapon. I honestly like that better because nothing on the board would be challenging the Captain Greenskin, and he'd be threatening a lot of damage. And damage can do a lot of work to this deck because they're damaging themselves. They're life tapping. They're playing Flame Imps. They're playing Raise Dead. You have a ton of burst damage in your own deck. I think the Captain Greenskin here makes a lot of sense.
I like it. When you ration out like that, it makes a lot of sense, and Risky Skipper seems to be better when you're playing in a position of responding to multiple targets as opposed to just one. That's just me, though.
Oh, okay. Darkler, Flame Imp, Life Tap. That's a big board.
Wow.
And
wow, Lady Vosh.
Lady Vosh. Whoa. Whoa.
What is happening?
Do you go for it? You can chain together spells. Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. Wait, what?
No,
it's a discover effect. It's a discover effect. It's not an actual.
Yeah. It's not a battle. It's a battle cry.
Yeah, it's a battle cry.
So what you do is, this is a new legendary card. I know what it does. Basically, it gives you a spell, and if you cast it, you can discover another spell that costs 1 more. And it keeps repeating itself over time. It's a shaman card, though, primarily, so we don't really see.
Yeah,
I don't really see it much,
I hadn't played around with it, so I was like, "Oh, it's a static effect," but no, it has to be attached with the battle cry. You have to start the chain with the battle cry.
Right. Very fun idea, though.
I'll show you who's boss. Double time and double pay.
Goblin Lackey kind of dies, but Firebat can clear off this board.
I was thinking he should South Sea Deckhand first and trade it into the Disease Vulture.
Before playing the Risky Skipper?
Yeah.
I agree.
Because now he's just going to play it, it's just going to die.
Yeah.
If he had done it the other way around, he could have held on to one of the lackeys, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Actually,
maybe it really doesn't matter.
I'll have to go back and review that one. That looked like there was an opportunity.
Oh
to
no, he could have.
improve
He
that
could have.
play.
Yeah, he could have held on to the second rush lackey because he would have rushed the lackey into the Lady Vosh because it was the only thing with 3 health. Everything else would have had 2 health. So he would have just had an extra lackey. Do you just tank 8 here?
Yes.
Oh, if he gets Titanic lackey, it'll survive. Nope.
Thinking if Faceless Lackey can change that of any kind, but
nope. But I do like the ordering here so he can fit in this lackey if necessary, and he is able to.
all right. Well, that's a pretty good trade.
Oh,
boy! Inspired Merchant off the top. Okay, can actually gain tempo through the Shadowlight Scholar.
Yeah, picks up second expired merchant as well. So when this one dies, he'll have more reload for his hand.
Yeah, I like not playing this expired merchant here. I think he still has a lot of room to improve with that. And it might actually be a game where he does want to keep getting more copies of Hand of Gul'dan.
Oh yeah, I like this play. The one thing that this deck struggles with is just hard removal. And by putting a 10 attack minion in play, the only way he can deal with it is Soulfire plus something.
It doesn't struggle that much when you have Bones Brittle Destroyer.
Yeah, but Bone Brittle Destroyer, I mean, there's 2 copies of it. That's literally the only hard removal in the entire deck.
Fair enough.
So on a base level, it does struggle, but he does have a Brittle Bone Destroyer. So, but I like Firebat's play in theory because of that.
Right. It's not likely that he has it, but chances are he kind of does hold something like that because he's been holding onto a card for a while on the far left. Either way, he's halfway through his deck, so chances are that, you know, it wasn't unlikely that he's drawn it. Now Firebat lacks actual way to come back onto the board.
The Vosh Prime.
Jeez.
He really needs Ankar from this just to try and get second Risky Skipper.
Huge.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Gonna get difficult for him, though. Because he needs a turn to pick it up, and then he'll need a full turn to be able to get value from that plus Battle Rage, so... NoHand's starting to piece together a little bit of a comeback here. I guess he's had the initiative most of the game. It's just been Firebat who's reacting. So I would maybe not even calling it a comeback.
Okay. Face of Feywing, hard to deal with like cards like Soulfire.
Ash Prime will pick up Soulfire.
Make it 0.
Raise Dead
the other
and
Hand of
Gul'dan.
Yeah.
Oh no, he picked up the second Raise Dead, so it'll just pick up Soulfire and Hand of Gul'dan. But spell damage +1. You're gonna play these Raise Dead first so they don't deal as much damage. Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa!
More Lady Vaj.
That's insane. And another flush giant.
Yeah, those are like two of the best minions that he had available to him.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Kind of hesitating for just a half second just to make sure that he's being efficient here. This deck does require you to play things in a very specific sequence to optimize things. Wow.
Nice.
I mean, you talk about a deck that struggles with hard removal. I think this warrior deck is also a deck that struggles with it.
Yeah, I mean, Firebat even put in a coerce, but they do lack hard removal. The best pickup here would probably be Lord Barov. Whap.
He can still draw it through Battle Rage.
Yeah.
Now it's time to go. Three cards. It's not it. Although the Armor Smith
Ooh.
does help, and with that Blood Boil Brute drawn,
Made to fit.
does give him a chance to actually kind of swing back this board in his favor. Does have to lose that Kor'kron Elite, though. I like it.
Yeah, and he can just inner rage this flush giant to kill it off.
Right.
Whew, this is gonna get tough. No Hands does have some soul fragments left in the deck for healing, but I mean he's looking at 8 damage, 4 Hand of Gul'dan's in his hand, and 2 Avash and Avash Prime. What in the world? If he raised deads here, he's
Well, I mean, he can still draw his Soul Shear, right?
oh yeah, Soul Shear is the other spell. He played one. No, Charles. Soul. What?
Soul Fragments. That's right, because those are spells, and then it casts when drawn. Soulfire. Soulfire was spell damage. Soulfire was spell damage and a Lady Vosh, but Soulfire only does 6.
Almost out of time.
And if he soulfires and discards a Hand of Gul'dan, he's getting close to fatigue, but I don't think he's really concerned about right now. He's just concerned about trying to deal with this. All right, piecing
Finds
it
the
together,
Soul
piecing it
Shear.
together.
I mean, and he finds a Flesh Giant. Oh, wow. What a turn for No Hands.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
That's exactly what it is, TJ. It is something.
Use Shield of Honor to push damage? I guess so. I guess the Soul Fragments in the deck means that pushing damage has less value, but No Hands is getting close to
Right.
fatigue.
He's
also
in,
getting close to being
he's
out
in
of
the fatigue
stuff.
scenario. Soul Fragments. We know at least 2 more in the deck.
Yeah. 3 more. And a Disease Vulture. I think this is the final push for No Hands, right? You just kind of go all in
Yeah.
here.
I even wonder if you worry about Nightshade Matron. And I think you just go for maximum board tempo. Ray's dead. What's he gonna get? Okay. Well, Tour Guide doesn't really do anything by itself, but Spirit Jailer's not bad. Wow. I'm starting to think like the only thing that can bail Firebat out of the situation is if he gets live wire lands into an ethereal lackey and gets a brawl and wins the brawl. It's looking real bad.
It's looking real bad.
Firebat. This is really powerful turn from NoHandsGamer.
Bomb Wrangler's not enough.
Okay,
Well,
if-
if this Boombot snipes off something reasonable, he
Right.
can still kill a Flesh Giant. So he needs to take damage off with the Boombot. He's still gaining some armor as well. All right, kill something. Nope. Oh,
Wow.
actually, that's good.
Now I can kill the Vulture.
I mean, he's still really far behind,
Totally.
but at least he has a
very much-
chance.
Yeah, now it's like NoHandsGamer doesn't have like an overwhelming force that Firebat can't deal with. Ooh. Collecting even more value at the moment. I like it. Chances are NoHandsGamer is going to pick up Counter Method Prime soon. He has 2 soul fragments. Oh, or just immediately pick it up.
Yeah. So I think your play of Livewire Lance into Ethereal Lock into Brawl is about the only out here. He does have Lord Barab, but that ain't helping him much, I feel, in this situation. Other than that, he has like a Corsair Cache, which I guess could serve the same purpose, but Corsair Cache plus Livewire Lance plus Lackey doesn't leave him enough mana for Brawl.
I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any value in trading to that Bomb Wrangler here. I think there is value in killing that Armor Smith, though.
Yeah, because if he picks up Lord Barov, he takes a lot of power off the board and gains armor if you leave these two things up. 5-1. Coerce. If he kills Devash, no,
Yeah.
1 to face. What is that?
Yeah, that's the worst possible outcome. He's got to go ahead and kill the Anrethet Prime. 4, 10, 11, 12.
Technically alive.
I'm almost out of cards. I'm out of cards.
Is there a minion that can sabotage him based off the Vulture? Your hero power deals 2 more damage, by the way.
All right, so now the miracle needs to happen. Needs the brawl right now, or needs
am not
Livewire
sure.
Lance into Ethereal Lackey into brawl right now.
Right. Yes. Oh wow.
I mean, he's all
Plus
in. He
taking
kills
more
him next turn,
damage.
or he has a miracle and wins. Like only
Oh!
thing.
All right.
Womp womp.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. NoHandsGamer gets another win with the Zoo Warlock, and it seems like it's once again performing pretty well for him overall. I wouldn't say that it's like the most dominant deck that's been brought this week, but it certainly has some good stats behind it.
Yeah.
1-0 for NoHandsGamer.
Ooh, going into fatigue activates Disease Vulture. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, we'll see if the Warlock deck getting through is a big deal. Again, there's not too much data that we have. It does feel like the Zoo Warlock is generally pretty good against a lot of the decks that Firebat has. Zoo Warlock seems to be good against the Priest, seems to be solid against Paladin. It does seem to be reasonable against Warrior even as well. So overall, all things considering, that NoHandsGamer may be onto something. Zoo Warlock might be better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, it seemed to perform well today. It had a couple close calls, but like piecing it together kind of near the end. And both times he won, he kind of won with his last all-in push. But if that's what the deck does every time, then that's what the deck does every time, and it's still going to hold a consistent win rate. So seems pretty fun. And I like the way he's been playing it.
That's right. So that brings us to our next intermission. So we're going to take a few minutes, and when we come back, we're going to have the rest of the series between Firebat and NoHandsGamer for a chance to play for top 4.
조금 어려운 것 같은데.
Bolt.
もしボートを持っていたらペンギン号と名付けます
일단 타는 거니까 천슈 슈즈 해가지고 천수 슈즈 줄여서 천슈.
샤크.
ボートがあったらリロイ号とつけます。
If I have a boat, I would name Thousand Sun because I like the name in One Piece.
我应该就会写上自己的名字吧，就是说自己可以买到这个。
그냥 제 닉네임인 플러리로 지을 것 같아요. 단 하나뿐인 배니까.
Road to World Championship.
I'm so bad at this.
I am weird and I have talents, but that doesn't combine the weird talents thing maybe enough.
I don't have any weird or random talents, that's why I'm playing Hearthstone.
I used to be able to do a backflip.
Nope, nothing.
Like, can you move your eyebrows in a weird way, or wiggle your ears without moving the rest of your face, or do a handstand?
Nope.
Splits?
Yes, completely trash. I think the only talents I have are probably like mathematics, physics stuff, and playing Hearthstone. So,
Can you do quick math in your head?
yes.
117 times 42.
$874.
I didn't check if it was right.
Wait, that's not right. You couldn't have asked me this yesterday. It would have been a lot easier.
Dumb accomplishment.
I don't think there really are dumb accomplishments. I think if you decide something is important and you work for it and you achieve it, that is important.
I once stayed up for, I think, like 50 hours?
Doing what?
I don't remember.
That's what usually happens when people stay up in
Yeah.
I was able to win a game of Hearthstone as mage with clockwork automatons. So you would just double the damage of your hero power 6 or 7 times until it's 30, and then you ping your opponent and they die. And I was really proud of that.
My hallway back at home in my apartment, some of the light bulbs have burned out, and I was able to go to the store and purchase a light bulb, the wrong one, but I still managed to make it out of the house and back, so that was good.
Ese es fácil. Mi mayor logro medio tonto que estoy orgulloso es haber llegado a leyenda en Hearthstone.
Magic school of your legacy of glory shines. May they stand forevermore. Take your place where magic bends to your will, but you'll have to study hard. So many clubs and colds. Excuse me, I misspoke. Take your pick out in the yard. Test your brains or put their spells for a soft double major honor roll. Just be sure to stay upstairs in the hall. Those troubles on will steal your soul.
They're kidding, of course.
Dear Magic School, we vow to stay right and true as always. We love you. Hey, hey, USA!
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas as we enter into the final stretch of today, as we have our last couple of games with Firebat and NoHandsGamer, and then we're going to hop directly into the winner of that versus Bloodyface. So after a very quick Warlock win in game number 1, looks like we're going to find out what ends up happening in game number 2, but I do want to say that it is nice to see 6 different classes in this series. Firebat kind of being a hero, you know, bringing the Paladin deck. And I like to see this kind of diversity in the first week of competition here, DJ.
Yeah, even though it has been struggling, it's refreshing for us to be able to cast different things. And he is going to play the Libram Paladin in this game. This is a pretty glaring weak point in his lineup. It's got an abysmal win rate despite him qualifying to the top 8. Not only personally for him, but just across the board. Throughout Swiss and so far in top 8s for all regions of Grandmasters. So if he is going to take a win, though, I feel like this is one of the matchups that he can do it. Highlander Mage does get a slow start. They need some, pretty exact tools in order to be able to deal with a minion that's buffed up early on in the game. And those exact tools are like Zephyrus, Freezes, and then Puzzle Box if Yoggs are on. If you could buy time to Amazing Reno, cool, because that can get rid of Librams. But that's not really the turns that Firebat's looking to capitalize on the board. It's going to be this mid game.
Yeah, I think it's a really good summary of like some of the removal tools that you have. Until then, like the Paladin deck is kind of susceptible to stall. I think another really good card against Paladin right now is Deep Freeze if you can get to it. Because it does tend to keep them, kind of frozen with their attacks, so they can't utilize things like their weapons. But it does seem like Firebat is generally struggling a little bit to get started off with his deck.
Oh no! Oh no! He drew the 2 most expensive cards in his deck off the mulligan.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to have to go for Goody 2 Shields instead and build off of it. But the good news is that he's got a pretty good combo with Goody 2 Shields plus the Hand of a Doll. Very powerful start if you can go for that.
Yeah, or just, High Abyss Allura and the coin could also be decent. Especially if you yeet the other Libram of Hope right out of your deck. That could be a pretty big swing on turn 4. Devolving Missiles. Oh, man.
Yeah, Devolving Missiles is the card against Paladin, actually, that we didn't even cover. It's one of the best cards against Druid and Paladin in particular, and was part of the reason why I think Mage even just started rising in popularity on ladder, because it was such a good answer to those 2 classes which were doing very well. I think Firebat, he's in for a rough time this game right now based off the way things are looking.
I must move quickly.
This is rough. Hero power on turn 2. Ooh.
And if you're NoHandsGamer, you take that.
Yeah, you take that. You ping, you hit him for 3, you say, okay, what you got next?
Shotbot comes a turn late.
Yeah. If you coin out Lightforge Zealot here, yes, you deal with the Astromancer Solarian that's on board, but then you give up your cheap spell for the Spellburst of High Abyss Allura, which at this point in the game, like high rolling that might even be the better way to go about things, because now he's just he's leaving it vulnerable. I probably would have played the Goody Two Shields there.
Yeah, I think the Goody Two Shields, you're okay with your opponent pinging and trading, and then you could play the Allura, but it is a little bit more vulnerable to exactly what NoHandsGamer has, which is the Devolving Missiles. So this actually does challenge NoHandsGamer in a way, and gives Firebat the ability to collect a little bit of value off of Allura before she inevitably gets dealt with.
Well, I was thinking he's just like, it feels like he's so far behind, even though not much has happened yet, that he would want to get the Spellburst effect and try and like high roll the Libram of Hope out of his deck, the second one, in order to like make whatever NoHandsGamer's answers would be less potent. Like Devolving Missiles on a Libram of Hope. I mean, yes, it takes power off the board, but not that much power. But yeah, now Firebat, it just feels like he's just not going to stick anything for the rest of the game.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Evolving Missiles just to kind of keep up your tempo. At this point, looks like NoHandsGamer is just kind of playing a tempo game. I actually don't even mind playing a Conjurer's Calling here.
Yeah,
like
sure.
a bump, and then you Conjurer's Calling whatever you choose to trade.
Sounds great to me. And of course, you do it on the Solarian, so that way you have Solarian Prime in your deck, so you can maybe draw that in the next coming turns. Pagel!
Nat Pagel.
Is that the Shaman Spellburst that returns it to your hand?
Yes, the name is eluding me off the top
same.
of my head right
I don't know
now. Let me just look it up real
But the Spellburst is you return the spell to your hand, whatever spell you cast that ate up the Spellburst. Firebat's going to have none of it.
Yes, it is the Diligent Note Taker. I've died many times to that and Lava Burst in particular. But, oh, the Nat Pagel hits! Firebat doesn't even want to look.
Yeah, he might also be looking at the many portraits in his room to try and find if Nat Pagel's on there so he can curse it in real life. Ooh.
I'm liking the idea of a Fireball, although I wouldn't blame him if he just starts to just keep it a little bit more chill in terms of the value, like he could play Malagos' Tome instead. Like removing the minions on the board. When Paladin can't stick anything, they're in big trouble. I mean, when Paladin doesn't play any minions onto the board, they're generally in big trouble. You know, I'm actually starting to be really impressed by Firebat making top 8 with this Paladin deck. It looks like straight up deadweight.
I mean, I'm impressed by the fact that because his Paladin went 5-13 in Swiss, 5-13 in Swiss. You know how high of a win rate your other decks have to make up for one of your decks being 5-13 and still make top 8? He's winning like every game with his other decks.
I do love a good
Yeah, it's just Paladin that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
For him, at least.
So he's obviously he's playing well. It's just one deck is holding him down.
Ready for a show?
Dragoncaster, Power of Creation. He's gonna leave a minion up. Oh, the Smug Senior. Nice. 6-drops
Big
actually
taunts.
got some pretty big buffs, I feel. Because you have the Onyx Mage Scribe at 6, which is massive. It's 4/9. That also has a massive spell burst effect, especially with Power of Creation, because mage spells are great. Yep,
Yeah.
scoops.
Fast concede here for Firebat, kind of recognizing there's not really much he can do, and Paladin struggles continue. No one in Europe brought Libram Paladin. 4 brave souls in Asia Pacific did. None of them TJ have a winning record. It's at best 50%, which I believe Surrender went 4-4 with. It's not looking good for Paladin right now. If one of the best players in the world, who was confident in it, went 4-4.
Well, I mean, Surrender is in top 4 for APAC.
Fair enough, right? And Paladin's made it deep enough, and like, it's had its moments, right? Like Firebat won with it today on stream. It totally has capabilities of it. It just feels like it's not consistent enough to warrant a spot on a lineup. It seems totally fine if you want to climb with it on ladder.
It's 1-3 today, just today. But now NoHandsGamer's final deck to win with for this series is going to be the Survival Druid. And if you give me 3 chances to win with Survival Druid against just about anything, I'm taking the Survival Druid. I'm not liking Firebat's chances in the series, even though this is one of the Paladin's best matchups. It's because the Druid does lack the early game removal. He can consistently stick minions and then buff them up before the Druid can be able to answer. Druid still just sometimes has just the starts.
All right, well, Paladin versus Druid is a matchup that I think Firebat has been winning. But, I mean, that's the reason why Paladin kind of exists here. It just dominates Druid archetypes, loses to Mage, loses to Priest, loses to Rogue, loses to Demon Hunter, loses to Warlock, beats Shaman.
Oh, cool.
Ready for action. I must move quickly.
And just to be clear, Paladin doesn't just beat Druid. It thrashes Druid a lot of the time. Like, it's not even close, because Druid just doesn't have the single target removal. And so, when you start putting Hand of Badal on Divine Shield minions, you just can't really deal with it.
Yeah.
And now Firebat has the deadly combo of Goldshire Footman and the Libram of Wisdom.
Yeah,
Truly
well, actually,
unstoppable.
I'm looking at protecting this young Dragonhawk and buffing that thing up.
Hey, I got you, friend.
That could be really deadly.
Yes, I was pretty much joking, but yeah, Bog Beam here on the young Dragonhawk actually does look kind of important.
Yeah, but still a lot of work to do for NoHandsGamer to kind of stall this out if Firebats start picking up buffs. That Risky Skipper's got a lot of anti-synergy going on with his deck, but I don't want to play it because you can't once you play it, you can't unplay it. And if NoHandsGamer sees that Risky Skipper, all it really has to do is just not touch it, and then eventually Firebat will have to play minions to kill his own stuff. I guess it's just more damage.
Well, he doesn't have to. He can Hero Power and Libram Wisdom next turn.
Yeah, true.
NoHandsGamer, like taking a look at his deck list here. His Druid deck doesn't have Swipe either, so putting his minions at 1 health doesn't really matter, except for Argent Braggart. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. It's a really good thing No Hands dealt with that young Dragonhawk.
And now we get to see the Paladin deck really push the issue.
Ooh.
6 mana available. Oh, no ramp at all.
I just has to Bog Beam here and then go for the Kael'thas Overflow next turn.
There's double Rising Wind opportunity here as well. That's so ugly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where the Argent Bragger comes in.
I must have slain one.
Nice little 6-7. 6-6. And No Hands is dead unless he picks up Miracle, but Needed that overgrowth last turn in order for the true miracle to happen. There's 12, 13, 14, 15 damage on board. He'll go up to 14. He doesn't even have like the additional mana crystals. The 7 mana.
He's dead. He is. It says end turn button. It's green. And with that, Firebat turn 6 victory against the Druid. Paladin, like we said, it's not even close. Some would even compare it to dunking the Druid.
It dunks Druid. It does.
That's right.
And if Firebat's lineup as a whole can dunk Druid, then maybe he can corner it. It's what he tried to do in the previous series as well, but wasn't successful at the end of the day. Now has Warrior and Priest to go up against the Druid. The Pain Warrior can also sometimes get off the early start, but not nearly as powerful. The strength comes in its ability to like just burst from hand, draw a bunch of cards to burst from hand when it's given time. We'll see if that's going to be like how he's going to win the game against Druid, but I do like NoHandsGamer's chances a little bit better. Actually, tenfold better against these last two archetypes than against Paladin, because that was a beating.
It was not close, but it was also kind of an unfortunate start because we saw the beginning of the game where there's no ramp. There wasn't really anything being done by the Druid. While the Paladin basically just kind of had a minion stick. Goldshire Footman didn't die.
No.
I kind of joked about how Goldshire Footman is just on the board when you buff it, but like Druid really couldn't deal with it.
All right. Wonder how much you keep here if you're Firebat. Sky Raider for sure. Against Druid, Risky Skipper, not much value, but in combination with Battle Rage, maybe there's some argument there.
All right, well.
Job's done.
The early mulligan once more, very empty for NoHandsGamer.
Lead the charge.
Reasonable for Firebat with, actually, not bad at all now. Just play the Parachuter. Parachuter does end up coming out for free if you have a Pirate, but I often just favor the early tempo here against Druid.
Yeah. Also, potentially some merit to just, getting the Bomb Wrangler out here. That could be very difficult for Druids to deal with. I thought he was going to preemptively load the Inner Rage there for a second because he was mousing over it, but I think wise not to.
Oh, yeah, I think it's totally fine not to do that. Now we can follow up with another Bomb Wrangler or go for a Shield of Honor. That's interesting against Druid in particular because they're not very good at dealing with Divine Shield. And not a powerful turn again for NoHandsGamer. Seems like ramp is eluding him.
Yeah, this is rough. Maybe you still kill the Bomb Wrangler just to make sure that you can't get punished with Crystal Power, but it would summon 2 Boombots, and you don't have a great way to deal with those next turn. So, Firebat picks up a Bloodsworn Mercenary here. He's cooking.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a different 3-mana card. It's still entirely reasonable to go for it. Your opponent just played 2 removal cards, Crystal Power and the Bog Beam. Yeah. That's big. That's super big.
No Hands just can't deal with it unless he picks up Lightning Bloom. This is going to put a real short clock on him.
Looks like it has to be Twilight Runner because then you need to be able to draw things like Innervate and Lightning Bloom. Whew. No Hands sending up a prayer with his hands. Firebat.
That there are hands.
That's right, 2 hands gamer. Firebat. What's the best amount of stats you can put on the board? It looks like it is Warmaul Challenger and the Parachuter, but he's going to first attack. Witchy is intriguing.
Do you want a 110 or a 4-drop? It's the
I was thinking
only
about playing
real
Parachuter,
target
just evolving that.
What now?
Oh, okay. And like playing Armorsmith alongside of it? Well, putting him a 7, that happens every time.
Right. The rest of this turn is where it's starting to go up in the air, right? Like, you want to keep the cheaper cards for if you do need cards like Risky Skipper, but
yeah,
this isn't even necessarily the maximum amount of power that you can put on the board. Oh my gosh. Okay. Flight Runner has to draw like Lightning Bloom or Innervate, and then he can play the Guardian animals.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my gosh, is that? I mean, that might be it. That might be enough.
So
stabilize him.
He only runs one of the Lake Rusher, but now he can play the Kael'thas, he can play Overflow if he finds more tube spells, he can play the Guardian Animals, start clearing off the board.
I like it. Okay, finds the Innervate. And this is the turn that Drew was looking for. Oh, and that might close the window here.
It's only a
Twilight
Runner,
only
though.
one.
Yeah,
because he drew his teacher's pets.
But, I mean, he's healed so much. Oh my god, that's... Oh, he's only got 6 mana. Woo! I was like, that's 2 more! But it's not like he even had any other spells to capitalize on it, even if he could play the Iron Bark, so...
Right. So this looks like Firebat's gonna go ahead and Witchy Lackey first, see what he ends up picking up. I think Restless Mummy would be like insane in this position.
So would that, what's that called?
Oh
It's
my.
Wow. There's
Okay,
the 4
now we
mana
want
Rusher
Cork.
that has a Death Rattle of a Rusher. Oh, that might be 5 mana. That's 5 mana.
I mean, forget that. Let's just evolve it to a Korokon Elite and win the game.
Yeah, that works also. Or a Grom.
Blood Bowl
A Blood
Brute
Bowl
is
Brute.
definitely better here, though, for sure.
Yep.
Drink your blood, eat your flesh. Merely a setback.
All right, let's see what the Witchy Lackey is going to transform this into.
I mean, reasonable. No Hand's still under a lot of pressure here. Bog Beam, Iron Bark, but I mean, he's just got a lot of. He does have Speaker Gidra, Innervate, Speaker Gidra, Savage Roar, Iron Bark, Bog
He
Beam.
may not need to play all that. He may not need to play all that.
Yeah, maybe not. Because he also does have 2 draws loaded up with the Twilight Runner. So that's also something to note.
Right. I do like the draw as well. Oh, jeez.
Why that?
In case he finds a Moonfire.
He doesn't play Moonfire.
Sorry, the Crystal Power #2.
Okay. He could have Iron
Actually,
Barked
the only
it.
card. Yeah, actually, the Iron Bark would have been a pretty nice thing, but
I guess he wants to
either
Iron
way,
Bark the Speaker Gidra.
he does end up killing. And does end up maintain the board just slightly, but still go pretty badly depending on the boom bot.
Yeah. Because he's got Livewire Lance and Kobold Lackey.
Exactly.
Actually,
if this hits for
he
3,
needs-
he's dead.
Yeah, this is very likely death.
It's a 50% chance.
Okay. Well, also the lackey. He could get a lackey as well. That could end it.
Right, that's also true. Sure. There you're lackey.
Probably athletics studies just because it's highest value, because you don't want to shield some whirlwind this because you want to bank the damage from the boom bot.
Right.
And he has no armor. Gonna see everything else that could happen first.
The broomstick.
Okay, let's see.
No. Nah, you just parachuter, right? NoHandsGamer still barely alive.
Oh, you can double
Bloom.
teacher's pet.
I was thinking survival of the fittest is the winning line, but
Okay,
maybe?
survival of the fittest into Nubasoth.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's better because then you can play one teacher's pet next turn. How much health does it put in play? It's 10 health with the teacher's pets that split that also give you a chance for the like Silverback Patriarch. This actually works out better against exactly Gyrocopter, which is kind of funny.
All right, so you can attack and get a lackey, and then damage lackeys, I think, should
Both damage lackeys do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's one off again.
Wow.
He can evolve his Kobold lackey.
Yeah, the Gyrocopter comes down and just trades.
So close. I don't know though. He might be
Very
locked out because
close.
No Hands is going to be playing taunts. Wolf Rider. No animals
more,
left.
Yeah, no more animals left. It's just teacher's pet, hero power, and kill the lackey, I presume.
We're looking at Firebat's deck. He doesn't have anything to like activate Battle Rage with. It would just be like a single draw. Coerce.
Oh, you're right. Coerce could do it.
Coerce for the game.
Okay, you get to draw
Battle
another
Rage
card.
into Coerce.
Corsair Cash first, right?
Yep, Corsair Cash first, then Battle Rage. Oh, Ankar into Risky Skipper, into Witchy Lackey, into Battle Rage? No, he's looking for Coerce. He wants to end the game right now. Watch him get...
I don't know. Ankar draws a Risky Skipper and lets you Battle Rage for a lot of cards.
It's not guaranteed Risky Skipper, though, right? Because he has a Sky Raider left.
Oh, you could be right.
Nope, it's a Skipper. Okay. He doesn't have mana to deal with it this turn, though.
Oh my god, he draws
Oh, that's
6 cards, though. Or 5 cards, 5 cards. Yeah, he was not drawing Coerce for a long time, but he finally picked it up, and now I think he's chilling. No Hands, can he actually pull this off?
It's possible.
Oh.
You just
I don't
play
know, I
two
think
big
you just-
beasts.
2 big beasts.
Coerce can deal with one. Can he deal with the other? Do you have to take out the Risky Skipper? I think you do.
Yeah, you do, and you stick a big board, and then you survive with the fittest again to win. In it to win it.
This is close. This is really close.
Right.
So he's going to have a lot of health worth of taunts. The one thing, if No Hands goes face here, I guess Firebat could still tank one more hit with the weapon. I was going to say he could shut off the weapon draw.
Time waits for no one.
Does one health make a difference? I don't think so, and I think you might need the damage, especially considering he's going to have a lot of armor after this. And yeah, got to respect the skipper.
I like it.
What's the pickup? Inner Rage.
Rage.
Oh no!
Wait, no, hold on. That's lethal.
What?
Inner Rage. Then you trade to. Oh, okay. If there's a taunt that pops out, of course,
Taunt that
kill
pops
the
out from either one of these.
Silverback Patriarch would be the Giga Nuts. And I think that might be the first time I've ever said that. And I've casted Hearthstone for a long time, TJ.
Your flaws are your strength.
Here it is. Silverback Patriarch. Nope. He got there.
Woo! Going to game 5. Woo! Close. The early damage from the Shield of Honor was just too much for No Hands to come back from. He had more HP. He had it. Yeah, way to stay in there and fight, but that was quite the intense back and forth.
Yeah.
Brings us to our game 5 here. Winner will play Buddyface no matter what.
Yeah, I really like Firebat's like aggressive push, and I think he played that well, prioritizing damage because he knew that the longer the game went on, the more likely that he'd be shut out. There was that one turn from No Hands, which I'd have to go back and look to see if there was actually any improvements could be made. The Speaker Gidra turn, and like the Twilight Runner, leaving the 6/6 at 1 health instead of Iron Barking it first. Because it would have survived, because it would have been at 7 health. So I've been a taunt that you have to get through, and then he can clean up with the Speaker Gidra after that. I don't know if that makes a difference in the grand scheme of things, but when the margins are that thin in those stages of the game, like you have to look at those kinds of things. And that was the only real turn that you can look at from No Hands and say, well, there might have been some room for adjustment. But Firebat scrapes by. Now, Priest versus Druid. Galakrond Priest from Firebat. Galakrond Priest that's missing a Mind Render Elusia. But it's still got good old Galakrond stuff. Madame Lazul also can be a pretty good card in the matchup because it comes out at the perfect time to be able to swipe an Overgrowth right out of their hand. I mean, you're not taking it from them, you're just copying it, but still. Could allow you to match their mana ramp. Throws it away, though. Looking for some early game minions. Like Disciple of Galakrond, Sethic Veil Reaver.
Yeah, I think this is a matchup that Firebat has been waiting for, and the Warriors seem to be pretty tough, but looks like Firebat's in good spirits. The old classic optimal turn 2 from the Priest. Is it the light from the Priest or the light reflecting off of Firebat's forehead? No one will really know.
Ooh, this is Firebat's gonna get some information here. It'd be funny if he sees Innervate Lightning Bloom. That close enough. Firebat's looking at that like, And
I mean, it's pretty accurately representing his hand.
Yeah.
And the Lightning Bloom is particularly interesting because if you anticipate your opponent to maybe like play a minion, like they Lightning Bloom into Guardian Animals, and then you can go ahead and Lightning Bloom right back with the Galakrond, and then destroy one of their minions. But that's, I don't know. I feel like Lightning Bloom might be the better pick.
Yeah.
What's fun,
this allows
though,
you to
is,
match a little easier.
Yeah, what's fun though is that Raised Dead, assuming this Lazul bites the dust, Firebat can just do it again, and then he can just assemble his own Druid hand. One Mind Render Lucia, and this game feels over.
I know. But he doesn't have it. He's playing Madame Lazul instead.
Wow.
The future is
Here we go. Lazul's back.
All right. So
Oh,
now
he
he
gets
sees
different
the overflow
information
bog
this
beat.
time.
Yeah. So he's starting to piece together what No Hand's hand looks like.
That's right. Okay, so the overflow, he knows that he can play as soon as next turn because NoHandsGamer has access to Innervate, Coin, and the Lightning Bloom. Honestly, it might just be like an Innervate. He's not going to run into... He's not going to... Actually, Bog Beam synergizes with the Veil Weaver.
Yeah, that's true.
But you are 2 mana crystals for being able to play it in the optimal state, or the ideal state. The reason why I think Innervate is because it opens up more options for him in case he draws things like Murazon. So like his opponent like Innervate, all this other stuff, and then he gets Murazon it right back. Overgrowth off the top of the deck though, big pickup for NoHandsGamer.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Now he doesn't have to utilize these Lightning Blooms and Innervates to be able to play the Overflow.
Right. So we have the Veil Weaver and the Apotheosis available this turn. We also have up to 7 mana thanks to the Lightning Bloom with the Galakron. And I think Firebat is done looking at the hand several times with Madame Lazul. Wait, is he though? Apparently not.
He wants to keep going. I mean, it is putting a 3-2 in play. All right,
He's like basically found out every card in the hand at this point.
He has seen everything.
I think okay, so I think the reasoning behind it was simply to get more tempo on the board. But he could do the same thing by playing Veil Weaver and the Apotheosis. He's seen every card.
He has. Maybe
He's
not
seen
both
6
copies
unique
of Innervate,
cards.
but
Right.
Okay, picks Overflow. I feel like he's not going to really have too much space to let Overflow happen, but maybe it could be like a desperation pick. All right, so hand space is an issue here for No Hands, but he could Crystal Power Coin Overflow in order to solve that issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That play feels really slow to me. I get where Firebat's head is at, which is he wants to look at the Druid hand, try to plan around it, maybe even utilize things like the mana crystal they gain. But it feels like if you prioritize playing like Apotheosis and the Veil Weaver and trying to stack it, I know he's probably afraid of the Guardian Animals that can come out, right? He doesn't want to necessarily just play minions to get it rushed down immediately.
Yeah.
But it feels like that's going to happen either way. And he saw Overflow already.
Ooh, I feel like he's giving No Hands a lot of time right now.
He's giving him all the time.
Yeah.
Another thing worth considering is that he had, like, I mean, if he sticks more minions, he has more opportunities to get value off of things like the Veil Weaver. Jeez. All right. So the Speaker Gidra will kill the Veil Weaver if you use the Blessing of the Ancients, which I think he wants to do right now.
Yep. And could get out a Twilight Runner here too. Would be susceptible to... Actually, no, it wouldn't be. There's no Shadow Word Ruin. The deck for Firebat.
Iron Bark. His hand's pretty full, and I think he definitely wants to get this Twilight Runner out. Okay. Twilight Runner not coming out means that Firebat can just play Galakrond on a curve, and it works out really well.
Yeah, I guess I understand where NoHandsGamer's come from. He wants to play Ysera Unleashed next turn, but Twilight Runner would draw him more plays to play into, even though he wouldn't have, he would only have 7 mana available to him, like if he picks up the Guardian Animals. But I get it, you know. He wants he wants to make sure he has a guaranteed play, guaranteed powerful play for the following turn. So it makes sense.
Right. Firebat with the Lightning Bloom also had the ability to Shadow Word Death and Galakrond, so he could actually deal with it either way.
Yeah.
What he can't deal with easily is this Ysera at the moment.
Nope, that one's a little tough. You can Lightning Bloom Overflow and discard a card.
Don't you want to Bog Beam, I guess?
Okay. Well, it would waste it because it would heal back up the Ysera Unleashed. But now he wastes the Cleric of Scales, which also could have value.
Right.
But right now he's just trying to search for answers.
Okay, Soul Mirror is a pretty solid one. It was just more like which is more valuable, the Discover a Spell or the Bog Beam. Since they both didn't really have much impact.
Yeah.
I like a random spell here too because sometimes it just gives you like Plague of Death. But he holds onto the Bog Beam.
Ooh.
Oh wow. You know, I feel like Firebat doesn't really value his AoeWeaver at all because he's like pretty confident that he has enough cards with it. Because basically he just played 2 of the value minions, the low cost value minions, for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna struggle with hand space issues here for a bit. Oh. I mean, Firebat's plan here has to be just to kill everything.
Well, that works out pretty nicely with Soul Mirror.
He'll overdraw some cards. He could Bog Beam first.
Bog Beam first.
Yeah.
And I think that's big, right? You want to stop your opponent from drawing cards. That's the way, like Druid's done ramping, so they just want to draw cards now.
Yep.
He's gonna go ahead and burn a card right now.
I have too many cards.
Oh! Oh no! How would he just Bog Beam first? It doesn't matter, actually, because if he Bog Beams first, he fills his hand and burns a card next turn. So either way, he's burning a card, so it really doesn't matter at all.
Right. Either way, he's burning a card, but, like, that one's a really painful one to burn.
Yes, it is.
Jeez. Okay, I still think Firebat's in a pretty okay spot.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
Super full.
NoHandsGamer is going slow enough to where he has time.
Mass Resurrection, you can play that right now and get all your Madame Lazul's back. You can also get his own Ysera and his own Twilight Runner. You could also simply tempo. He could play a Penance and then Apotheosis ×2 and then start pushing damage and pressuring the Druid. And I like that play because this Sated Threshodon, this Lake Threshodon, Sated Threshodon is a different card. That card hits 3 minions, and Druid's going to most likely play only 2. So this looks like a good victory push here from Firebat. I think he's done amassing his resources.
Time is running out.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting to see Firebat prioritize such a low amount of like resource generation here, and still like be able to rustle the tempo away from Druid very handily because NoHandsGamer went too slow, or so we think. Dream Portal #1. kind of useless. 2?
Yeah, he needs. Well, 8 attack
all in?
lines up awkwardly against these 2 9 health minions, but he's got Shadow or Death. He's got Time Rip. Seems like he's got every box checked.
What to do?
That's right. So NoHandsGamer could actually play his whole hand. He could Teacher's Pet, Anubis Thought Defender, Lightning Bloom, Innervate, Blessing of the Ancients, Lightning Bloom, Innervate, Blessing of the Ancients again. It's a lot of stats. It's a lot of power. And he gets blown up by pretty much the Hand of Priest here. So you can Time Rip first to see what the minion drops, and also you can kind of see what minion you get. But from there, you just kind of hit the Azure Explorer straight in down the middle, and you should be good to go. Looks like Firebat has different plans, though. The Breath of the Infinite is the first thing he gravitates towards.
I think he just.
What if?
Yeah, if he plays the Big Ol' Whelp, then he doesn't have mana for the Time Rip.
Right.
As well as the Shadow or Death. And I think he just wants to keep removing, keep pushing. Oh. Well, now he gets Silverback Patriarch.
Yeah.
That's awkward, though, because now he has to throw the Silverback, this Thrushdown into a taunt, which means he's not pushing damage, which means he's giving NoHandsGamer some more time to draw portals.
I like it.
Okay.
Gonna try to use the attack here on the left and deal damage.
Yeah.
Nice job. Just more big minions, I guess. The problem is he can't play more than one big minion because that bronze herald just dies.
Yeah. You could play both. Actually, playing both makes sense because then he might be able to kill the Thresher.
But it cleaves.
Well,
I guess
it
he's
would
anticipating it.
It would cleave one of the Bronze Heralds, and then the other one wouldn't be able to be challenged. And if the Thresher takes 7 damage, then he could theoretically attack the second Bronze Dragon in.
Right. You were saying to play both of the Bronze Dragons.
To play both of them, yeah. Because playing one seems pretty useless, but maybe you assume that they're going to have removal. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like NoHandsGamer has any outs in here unless he gets all of his portals right now, multiple taunts, and his taunts are spread out in a way that the Thresher doesn't challenge them properly. I don't know. It has to be a miracle.
Just running so cold at the moment. Okay.
This timeline amuses me.
Nature Studies. He pretty much has full mana.
Ugh.
Alright, I think it's kind of doomed at this point. You don't really have anything else you can really do to stop the pressure, and Firebat has lethal on board.
Yep.
I don't think he has lethal, so he's got 8, 4 plus 2, so that's 16. 14, excuse me. So he has 14. So if he plays Bite, he's alive, and he's alive from what he knows.
Time waits for no one.
All right, NoHandsGamer just kind of hanging in.
Get AoE if the Chrono Breaker dies. Nice.
Every little bit. But I mean, if I'm Firebat, this is a victory push.
Yep.
Shield of Galakron, Big Ol' Whelp. Too much stats for Druid to overcome. It's actually nice in case he wants a spell to play with this as well, and he's invoked twice, so Fate Weaver can make it discounted too.
We are all bound to fate.
Trying to think of a way No Hands can win outside of just the craziest portals of his life, but if he gets all 6 of his remaining portals and they're all evasive worms, they're all skeletal dragons.
Order, there was lethal, I think, if he knew that he was going to get Inner Fire. Actually, I don't think so.
No, there wasn't. Because of the Chrono Breaker.
Yeah, because the Chrono Breaker. That's actually really funny.
Not yet your time.
Finally, I suppose, but a little bit too late. All right, let's see if there's anything that NoHandsGamer can draw here at the last
portals
turn. If he draws, yeah, he actually can play Survival of the Fittest, I think, if he finds Kael'thas? No, that's his 3rd spell. 1, 2, yeah, now Kael'thas can actually play Survival of the Fittest. And then he will die.
Solid
no
effort,
taunts.
though.
Yeah, if
He ended the game with a big
dragons were
board.
taunts, yeah, if it was evasive dragon in, I think there was a chance, but Firebat able to withstand the pressure and get the win in the series, advances 3-2. After being down in what looked like to be a really bad spot, 0-2, but sweeping the Druid, which seems to be the main strategy. Most people are like trying to target that Druid. And a lot of times that Druid wins anyways. So well done. Firebat challenges Bloodyface for the final match of today, and also a rematch from the beginning of the day.
Yeah, and honestly, it would feel, kind of crazy to me. Firebat still with that Libram Paladin, just pretty much only targeting Druid, only able to beat Druid with that deck. At least that's what it seems like. Obviously, it does have some game against other decks, but he's making a run. Bloodyface is a tough opponent, though, and already proven that he can beat him in the match from earlier today. So he's scraping along. He's, making it close, getting those victories. We'll see if it'll pay off, though.
Totally. And the winner will join Language Hacker in the top 4 alongside Muzzy and Eddie. No matter how it is sliced, it is a great top 4, super stacked. And of course, NoHandsGamer did a great job to get to this point. And I'm sure we'll be seeing him back very soon. As in weeks 2 and 3, I think he's also going to be a threat. I love the fact that some of these formats will test the deck building. So I think that's where NoHandsGamer will truly shine. With that brings us to our final break of today, TJ. We're going to take a little bit of time and give Firebat to reset, so that way he can clear his mind, go to the bathroom. And when we come back, we're going to have the concluding series of day 2 here in the opening week of Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas. So stay tuned. Be right back.